Alright, so we're opening up this headlight relay with some needle nose pliers, and you just squeeze the edge to kind of raise it up. It's light aluminum, so it's not too hard to do. Like that. Looks pretty good. I'm hoping this is not glued in here. Here it comes. Oh! Wow. Do we see any cracked solder joints? Water intrusion? So we can trace all these pins because they're all conveniently labeled. So we're interested in, for example, pin 56, 56A, 56B, 56 is coming from N7, that one's right here, it comes over here. Those two contacts. I don't know if that burned or not. And then the relay that's not clicking would be the one that sends power to 56A and 56B from pin 30. That would be this one right here. Well, actually no, that's just high-low beam relay. We're looking for the internal one. So let's see, 86M, that's the control. M30, that goes to the motor. So this is to open and close the motor. This one is low beam, high beam. So this one right here must be the one that actually turns on the headlights. So if you can trace it, we can even install it and just check with a test light if these, if power. Let's see here. We need power going to this relay on pin 30. So pin 30 is right there. You see it feeds this one right here. Okay. Yep. And then the contact closes, and it looks like he feeds this to here to the high-low beam relay. Okay, over to here. So I don't hear this relay clicking at all. So that mean, I think that must mean it's a control side issue. We could just pop it in and manually switch that to see if the headlights come on. If they do, I think we can work with this. If the control side is bad, and if I can't figure it out why, we can install a bypass relay to use, to basically keep this functionality on the car. Okay, so the relay is installed with my test light. You can see this is this right here is hot. So if I push down on it, we should see the headlights come up on the ceiling, and they do. So the load side of the relay is just fine, but the control side is what we're worried about. That whatever smart transistor is not switching this relay on and off. Alright, so the relay's installed, and on the control side, first I want to check that terminal 30 is hot. It is, and if I ground the other side, the relay should click. I'm grounding it, nothing. So the winding of the relay, the control side winding, is open circuit. That's the whole problem here. I don't know if I can fix that. Alright guys, looking inside this relay, you can actually see the two little wires there. So this one's hot all the time. Hot all the time. If the little moisture corrosion gets in here, that little wire actually looks like it lost its copper. Let me do a continuity check. Let's see if we can fix this no parts required. Alright, so I think I came up with a solution to repair the original headlight relay and make it more reliable than stock. So here's a small 5-pin relay, just classic, load and control side. And this will fit if we unsolder this one, kind of place this one here, clip off the pins and just solder wires wherever they need to go. That'll make this original unit perfectly functional, and it'll look stock, and it'll be, just fine. It'll take me, less than an hour to do this, and it's cheaper than buying if you can find one, a replacement relay. On Amazon you get this aftermarket one for 200 bucks, but we can fix this right here, right now, almost no parts required, just a little relay. This will fit perfectly. Once the legs are snipped off, just solder 4 wires on and it should be perfect. Alright, so the customer gave me the go-ahead to try to replace this thing with this thing. So we're using the HAKKO FR300 desoldering iron, and let's see here, that's on. And basically it has a vacuum pump built in, so when you melt the solder and you hit that, it'll just suck all the solder out, and that makes it super easy to remove any pins. Like this relay, we need to desolder 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pins to get this relay out of the board. So let's see if it works. And yes, you can dial in the temperature here. Now we'll crank it up. See if this will melt. Definitely getting hot. Now for this you want to be quick, so let's just dial up the temperature to the max. So you want all the solder on the joint to melt. Okay, next one. So I don't know if I have different tips. This tip is a little narrow. Let me see if I have any other attachments. Nope, don't have any other nozzles, so I'm just going to use this. Okay. Remember, this is just a simple circuit board, so that was nice. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things desoldered. So I'm going to try to gently pry this relay out. So it's still, so what we can do is preload it a little bit. And just melt the rest of the solder off. And then also this one. Let me finish that up. We'll pop this relay out. Alright, so the culprit is off the board. I had to clamp it in a vise and just kind of use a pick while heating it up with the HAKKO. So all we need to do is get power to this thing. That'll be this trace, pin 30. And then also maybe just jump that to the control side of the relay. Also constant power. And then from there, the control side is going to be this trace coming from this transistor to that pin. So we can even solder it to here or here, wherever is convenient. And the output is going to be to the headlight relay, so anywhere on this trace through that hole, or just to the back side of this. Anything will work. So this is low beam, high beam. So, let's do that. I'm going to clip these legs off, solder it in, plug it in. Headlight should work perfectly. Alright, so the middle pin here we don't need. That's like pin 87A or whatever. So broke that out. Now the rest of them we do need. So we can either trim them with some cutters or just put on the grinder and shorten all of them up. Get some jumper wires and it should be pretty easy. Alright, so soldering some jumper wires to the existing solder points. Very nice. So this smaller gauge blue wire is the control for the control pins. These two will be soldered together. That's just constant power all the time. And then this is the output to the headlights. So let me finish this up and we'll test it out. Alright, so before the final soldering step, we got 1, 2, 3 connections to make. So you see the control wire, that's the light blue one. And then this red one coming from the bottom is the main power feed, pin 30. It's going to feed load and control. And then finally to the headlights, there's a little jumper that goes to the braided strap. No reason it shouldn't work. Alright, here we go. So first I'm going to solder the load side. Make sure your iron's nice and hot. Nice and tinned. Let's go for it. Okay, all the strands are attached. That should be fine. Now let's do the main power feed here. Again, we want solder to adhere to the relay pin. There you go. Plenty of solder there. And also these two pins you want to solder together. Perfect. Okay, pretty happy with that. Maybe just a little more on that power wire. Kind of push it with a pick while you solder to make it adhere a little better. Okay, beautiful. Last wire, control wire for the OEM, whatever, smart logic. So I'm going to pre-bend the wire and then just lay it on top of that pin and go to town. There we go. Want to see the solder just flow through the entire thing. That's it. We're done. So we can plug this in right now, just in its open state. I think headlights will work. Alright, moment of truth. Relay's plugged in. Key on. Parking lights. Boom! Yes! High beam, low beam. Lights off. Lights on. Awesome. And 0 position. On position. Simply amazing. Okay, and the ignition on. Now we can flash the high beams too. Okay, I see an accessory. Oh, that works. Off. So when the headlight switch is off, you cannot flash the high beams. The headlights need to be on, but the fog light relay goes in here. I think that's where I took it out of. Yeah, this should go in right here. And if the headlights are off, you can still flash the fog lights. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, one of our turn signals is out. So that's it. Let me put the cover back on. We'll put that little protective cover over everything. Good to go.